what I ended up with was a little piece of redwood I have. It's about 1.5 inches thick. I've marked out a circle for the inside diameter. The knob is actually going to be on this end, so we'll make our tenon here before we actually start doing our fitting. We just need a tenon we can fit in deep enough that we can go ahead and make our knob out of it as well, a little handle for the top. So first thing we have to do is get it round. It's not going to be perfectly round. I just want to see where we're at here. And if we have any interesting grain, we did lose that knot. Hopefully we'll turn past that. Shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, we're going to be good. That's a pretty piece of wood. All right, let's get right up to it here. So we get a nice, super clean cut. Save us some sand and time. And then I'll go ahead and put a tenon on it. Time for a tenon. Pointy gouge to give us our dovetail. Make sure we're going to fit. Look at that. It was eyeballs. Did okay there. A little chip out here on the tenon. Redwood is very soft, but you see it also cuts beautifully. And it's going to have some chatoyancy in it, if you notice there, once we get down to the sanding and finishing on that. So I'm going to go ahead and swap us out to our other chucks so we can now do our fitting. And again, there's a ton of ways to do this. This is just my process. And since I know I'm going to be putting a knob on this end, I can use that tenon as my base for that knob. And we'll put a recess in here to expand it into that so we can work and shape the top however we want to. Plenty of material to work with. And we have a nice center hole in here. The inside hole is the starting distance for our lid. So I've got a place to start. So let's get set up with the chuck and we'll get back at it. So I'm going to start out by just peeling back to that line, and then we'll come back and fit. Make sure that it's actually fitting in our lid. And I've got a nice sharp edge on my pointy gouge here. So we're going to just come into that spot there and make sure we get a good fit. Again, just taking a little material off for fitting at this point. And we're close. You can still see part of the line there, so that's what we need to get in, get rid of that line. Super duper close now. I could get a crush fit now from that, but that's no good for something on your kitchen counter. You got to be able to lift that lid off with one hand, so that's got to be a little bit looser than that. And I'm going to get the bigger gouge here and flatten that bottom off now. We've got quite a bit of play there. That should be a good fit for start of our lid here. Yeah, fits on, doesn't move around too much. So I feel good about that. And we're almost the same size as the bowl. I like that too, so I think that's pretty good. So next part for me is I like to put a recess in here. Start it out by just kind of like the same way you'd hollow a bowl. Just going to hollow out the center a little bit. Just kind of give it a domed appearance inside. Now that we have the inside, we need to have a little dovetail here to put our jaws into. And once we have the dovetail, we'll Use our box scraper to flatten that spot out a little bit. I like to add a couple little decorative details here. And again, this is inside the lid. There's nothing, no one's ever going to probably see it, but I like having a little something to show for the work we did. So we have our dovetail here for our jaws, which will be a permanent part, and then we just have to clean that up with some sanding. And that looks like it's going to be, didn't sand very well, so I might end up having to, or didn't cut very well on the grooving. So I might have to lose that grooving. Yep, let's just lose that instead of wasting too much time on it, but that's a shame. Sometimes grain will cut out, well, this chipped out as I was doing the little grooves. So I'll just use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge, and we'll just clean that up real quick. Come into that little hole and just dome it out a bit. Get a little dome. And then from that spot there, I should be able to lift this way up, and I can get in there, tighten that up with the box end scraper. So that's basically the inside of our lid. I can take it further out to this edge here, obviously. We have plenty of material to do that. And I might do that just to give the inside a little bit more interest. Kind of like it's just a little gentle cove. We still need to be able to get in there for our dovetail. So go ahead and take that in a bit more. And we're ready to sand. Okay, we've got it all the way down now to just sanded it to 220. Nothing fancy there. And we're going to go ahead and put our shop shine. Remember, this is the inside of our lid right now. We've got it fitted nicely. So once we finish up with this part, we can turn around. And I'm just using the shop shine again. I don't want any grit on the food contact surface for a storage vessel like this. But once we get it all polished up and flipped around, we'll be able to use that little recess we made to hold it on our chuck. And then we can create a knob. We'll just kind of like fashion a knob out of the leftover material up here and kind of create a shape that we're happy with. We'll dome it probably. Cool little dome. Just something to look nice on a kitchen counter. Again, this is the kind of fun part of turning is, you know, you don't need to copy anyone's exact design. You know, you kind of take the idea, the concept, and then make it your own by coming up with a shape that you like or that you've seen somewhere else before. But the basic concept that I'm trying to get across, just how to fit a lid, how to make a cool little pot. And a lot of the times we don't think about all the different applications for a bowl. We're just constantly making bowls. You know, people are throwing their keys in them, and you know, obviously the salad bowls and food bowls and stuff. There's so many different things you can do with the bowl shape. And this is a great example. The salt cellars for the kitchens, spice cellars and stuff. They're also really kind of cool when you have company and guest over. You whip that thing out, throw it on the dinner table, and people take a little pinch of salt, something like that. You know what I mean. You know where I'm coming from. I think you do anyway. All right, let's go ahead and buff that on. And this is just redwood, just a scrap piece of redwood. Like I said, I really like the redwood. It's fun wood to turn. Super soft, super easy, very forgiving. Takes a lovely polish, and sometimes you get some really neat chatoyancy and stuff out of next to nothing, really. Because you can usually get a lot of redwood, at least I have in the past. Got most of mine is old fencing, old decking, and old picnic tables. I'm pretty sure this came from a picnic table at some point. So there we go. That's the inside of our lid. Now all we have to do is flip it around. We should be able to open The same set of chucks here, although I might have to get out my larger ones, but I think we can open them right into that hole. It'll leave a couple little marks in there maybe, but they'll be symmetrical. And now we can turn back the other direction to make the rest of our shape. So I'm going to get my tools set up here, and got quite a mess. We've been busy today. First thing we want to do is get rid of that hole on top up there. We don't need that in our look. So I'm going to probably pinch into that because we might have a domed top. It's still a little high. So if we just gently come in here, find it where the bottom of that hole is. That looks pretty good. So we can have a nice little concave section. I still can see a bit of that nub there. I don't really care for that, so I'll have to scoop that with a larger gouge here. Okay, now we have to kind of figure out the diameter of our knob. I don't think we need a big one here. You think diameter-wise for our pot? It's about 1 inch across. I think we can clean that up nice. We've got some chips and stuff on here we're going to have to deal with. So let's go ahead and do a traditional bowl direction here. We're going to round this off, kind of dome it a little bit, get our lid thickness we want. So that's a pretty good sized knob there. Let's get a good cut on the side. We have a lot of tear out up in here with the end grain on the redwood, which we kind of knew that was coming. So we'll have to sand that out. I don't know if I have I might be able to try to scrape that just to see if there's a chance to get a nicer cut on that. We'll give it a shot real quick before we go to the sanding. See if that gave us a nicer cut. Felt like it did. Yeah, that cleaned that up really nicely. Still have a little around the edges up here, so we'll flatten that out. Some woods just scrape lovely and some woods don't. I think we got a nice scrape on that. Take this couple little chip outs though in the end grain here, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Those will all round sand. Okay, let's just get that last little bit there and then we'll texture that top. Okay. Yep, all nice and pretty now, easy to sand up. So let's go ahead and get going on that. Easy peasy. We go right back to, on the outside here, we could use a little of the shop grit so we can get a little bit nicer look on the outside. And then we'll use a thick coat of our shop shine for protection on the outside. And I got a lot of goo here. That's on purpose because this wood is very porous. Redwood's just like a sponge. And since the majority compound in this is mineral oil, it should protect it and fill it up real nice. Some of that in there and here. You can see it soaking right into the wood, and this is a big, thick, heavy paste, right? So Next stage for us is going to be to buff that in. We got a lot on here still, so keep it at a nice high speed. I'll stay out of the line of fire so I don't get covered in mineral oil. Just going to buff it on now. You'll find that this old redwood board, like I said, I think it came from an old picnic table, but it could have come from a fence or a deck too, because I picked up a lot of it whenever someone's replacing an old deck or fence. There's always some nice boards left there. Could have been from either of those things. I honestly don't remember. But that should be the look here in terms of smoothness and our sanding lines and stuff. That should be it for that. You can see some nice chatoyancy, very unusual right there. Boom, it just kind of catches the light. And then the actual annular rings that come through it are slightly raised, just the way this stuff sands. It'll sand a little bit easier in the between grain wood. I don't know what you call that. I'm sure it has a name. But the rings are harder, and they don't seem to sand down as fast as the rest. So you get a really cool texture and a really cool look. And I think it helps with the chatoyancy too. It gives it that dancing, that pretty dancing light there. And for something that you're going to be looking at all the time and using all the time, it's kind of nice to have something that, you know, has an aesthetic that that you're happy with. So again, we'll see how this works with the myrtle. You know, there's very different color palettes. I've got the speed cranked all the way up, 1200 RPM. I'm just melting in the beeswax now. Carnauba, a little lemon oil. Just give it a nice buff. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a clean terry that I use for buffing, and we'll go buff it again with that. Give it a little pressure. Hold up some friction. You can see the reflection there in the wood. And that's our lid. So all we have to do here is that internal recess we used. See, it didn't make a mark or anything. We had it sized right. And we'll put it in our little bowl. Top bar. It's all dirty. I'll get you a good picture of it in a minute here, but it's light enough that it'll come right off. It does fit all the way through, but it's loose enough that you can pick it up and not have to worry about knocking your salt cellar off the ground. Hopefully you had a good time. It's a fun one. Okay, let's get it cleaned up.